Hello, this is Srinali and you're watching The Shift Asia. In 2023, Renuka Sena, co-founder and CEO of Profisio, was appointed as the national expert for the World Summit Awards for WSA. WSA is a global competition recognizing digital innovations that positively impact society. It connects startups, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders across 182 UN member states, promoting digital solutions to address local challenges and advance the UN SDGs. So every year, upwards of 900 nominations are submitted by national experts from around the world, and only 5 global winners from 8 categories are selected by a global jury. So on an annual basis, therefore, there are only 40 global winners, 5 winners for each of the 8 categories. The Malaysian nominee for Business and Commerce in 2023 was MadCash. Who's MadCash? MadCash, which stands for Multiply, Assist, Donate Cash, is a fintech company that works with women entrepreneurs to help them achieve greater financial security by providing the capital, business, and financial acumen to grow their micro businesses with the goal of creating a future bankability score. So female-run businesses make up between 40 to 60% of all micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises in Southeast Asia, but most of them don't or can't qualify for traditional financial services. There are many more nano businesses that are not seen because they did not register their businesses. This means most of these businesses earn day-to-day or week-to-week revenues, making them vulnerable to any calamity which could severely impact their families and the communities they serve. I'm here with Nuraizah Shamsul Baharin from MadCash, who is trying to help with this problem. So Nuraizah, nice to be speaking to you in Kota Baru. How did you get on this path of helping women entrepreneurs?
I would say that the whole idea came to be just before the pandemic, because I was looking at how Malaysians are very generous, right? So they're always ready to give a helping hand and all that. And I was thinking, how do we make this something that can be sustainable so that you don't have to keep raising funds to give as charity? So I was thinking that one way we could do this would be to look at entrepreneurship and then see ways where entrepreneurship can be the tool that helps make it a sustainable donation. So everything that is given gets repaid so they can go on to help someone else. So that was the basic idea. And then when the pandemic happened, we had a chance to actually test our theory.
Right.
So we raised funds through our friends. So we raised only 3,000 ringgit and we gave it to 3 ladies, and we saw amazing success after that. Like after giving 1,000 each for the first month, the second month they made 18,000, so we thought, easy peasy. And then it's only the next month when we came back and we talked to the ladies again, and we found out that all the money was gone, the money that they raised, the 18,000. So we saw that it's not enough just to give money. So
Right.
we needed to be able to provide education, maybe a little bit of financial acumen. And also one of the things that we found really surprising was that women felt guilty about having money. So they thought they needed to give it away,
They felt guilty for having money, right?
Yeah.
So I know, so you mentioned a very interesting couple of things, and I also read some stats as well, right? So when you said they couldn't keep their money, what are the major challenges with these women entrepreneurs? They had no financial acumen, the guilt of keeping money. What other challenges do you have?
I would say maybe it's out of the 3, I think one of them had some unpredictable emergency, like her little stall got hit by lightning, so that
Oh,
we
wow.
can't do anything. It's an act of God, right? But the other 2, I think they've never had that understanding that you could keep money as savings, or you could keep it for your kids and stuff. So usually the women, they don't keep money, so they rely on their husbands, and then when they have a little bit more money than their husbands, they feel like, oh, this is not right, I should give it to him, I should give it to my father. So it's that kind of thing. So I think it's also our upbringing, and I really salute the schools now for wanting to cover more about financial literacy.
Right. Right. And how do you help these women then, apart from just funding?
So we realized that there are a few things we needed to do. So one would be not just give money, but also give them some understanding of how their business works. So what happens when you have extra money? How do you keep that as a tool to help you grow further, right? Can you keep it as capital? Can you keep it as rolling cash? So then another thing that we also looked at was, what else can you do with the money? And also, why should you think about growing it beyond your community?
Right.
So we saw that we needed to bring in mentors who do not live in that area a role model that they could look up to, so that they have that permission to be better. Because our goal is to say that, like, if you are richer, you can help more people.
Okay. And so far, what is your impact or success rate, and how do you measure impact?
Okay, so in the beginning, it was purely through whether your business generated more income or whether it's able to employ more people. Then we saw that data shows that when you give women funding and they make money from that, they actually spend that money on their family and their community. At least 90% goes back to their family and community, and it's not just in Asia; it's all around the world. So this is the one thing about giving to women; they always give back. So maybe it's part of that guilt factor, you have to give it back somehow, right? So then the other thing that we also saw was that as we work with more women, we realized that when we come in and we give them a little bit more education, a little bit more upskilling, then their skills have upgraded. So we now track, are you better today than you were yesterday? And then also we track, what have you done to digitalize yourself? So because of the COVID, we understood that women needed to now invest in digitalization, invest in tools that help them grow. And the last thing we track is your happiness index. Were you happier before we came in or after we came in?
Okay. And for you, what is your business model? How do you earn revenues?
Okay, so the loans that we give out, they are given at 0%. So people usually say that this is like unfathomable. Why would you give a loan at 0%? But this is our goal, is to give it at 0%. And then we work with partners who not only give us the funds for the loans, they also give us the funds to run the program for a year. So the group that we work with, we know that it's not a touch and go thing. You have to be in their face, in their life every month, at least touch base to make sure that everything is okay. And that's how we ensure our repayment rate is about 98.8%, because we are constantly there to support. So our goal is like, what needs to be done? How can we help you? What else are you facing challenges? So that's how we come in.
Okay. And so is it, I guess from the website, it's more of these women approaching you rather than you approaching them? I mean, is that the case?
No, now we do outreach programs all the time, because some of the funders, they have a specific group that they want to work with. Some would like to work with the P40, some would like to work with the really, really urban poor. So sometimes in a country like Malaysia, where the government is really generous, right? So you have all these handouts and stuff like that. You find that charity becomes a crutch. So people tend to want to live in this cycle just because they get money every month, right? So to get people to be inspired to go out, to be more, it's quite a challenge. So we go out and we look for these people who have this belief in themselves and their vision to be better than where they are today. So that's who we.
And what kind of businesses do most of these women have?
So we find that they fit into 5 categories. So we have F&B, and then we have education. So a lot of them are working with autistic children or some kind of differently abled children. And then they also do health and beauty, as well as fashion. And surprisingly, we also have quite a number that do agriculture.
Oh, okay. Now, is it important that they are tech savvy, or is that part of the education process as well?
Yeah, it's part of the education process. You should see us in the early days. People are like screaming on the phone, press the button, like to get them on Zoom and things like that, right? So now, I guess we exist because of the pandemic. I think because the pandemic happened, then people had to move. They had to change the way they work. They had to change the way they study, and everything had to change to adapt, right? So because of that, we are able to service the people we service. So now we are in all the states in Malaysia, and how we work is that sometimes we meet up in person, sometimes we do online. But the key is that every month we meet up to support each other and to network.
How do you decide who qualifies to get on the program?
So there's a few calculation that we do. So we have a platform. The platform is a technology platform that does the profiling. So it comes up with a certain measurement to see whether you qualify or not. So we ask quite a number of questions, at least 70, and most people like cannot believe there's so many questions. But then we tell them that if you can't do this, then definitely you can't do the rest of the stuff that is needed
Right.
in the program. So that's the minimum criteria you need to do. And we do understand challenges in places like Sabah, Kedah, where the internet is like almost impossible to work with, but they still manage. And that's how and then once we've gotten the profiling, we also do the interviews. So it used to be that we are able to do side business, but now that we have many people on the platform, we do like a virtual interview, so that you must be at your place of work, because if you're doing F&B and things like that, we want to know that it's clean.
Yeah.
There are people who are there, so we wanted to see that kind of things.
Right. And what are the plans for this year?
Well, this year we have a big ambition. So far we've been working with about 1,400. We want to reach 10,000 this year.
Right. Okay.
10,000 women, yeah.
10,000 this year. All right. And how is that going to be achieved?
So far it's been quite okay. So what we do is we reach out to people who through NGOs as well as through associations or groups that work with women, and then we try to see what can we give them. So we start with the MadCash Academy. So the MadCash Academy will let them at least cover the basic knowledge of how their business works. So we do the business model canvas. If you know who your customers are, you know where your revenue is coming from, you know where your cost is, at least you have a bigger understanding of your business. Because most people do not go to an MBA to learn about their business. Most of them just learn on the street, right? So this is a way for you to relook at what you're doing, and then see where you can improve it, and see where you've had the wrong perception.
Right.
All the time. Because one thing you see about women is that today they're selling this, tomorrow they're selling something else, because they're always jumping on the latest trends.
Right.
But to build a business, you must be known for something.
Yes.
And you must stick to that, yeah?
Right. And so who would be your ideal, I guess your clients would be, I would assume like a bank, or it could be other people, but like a bank, because then they can, it's good for them in terms of the S in the ESG, but also at the same time, they can build them up to be their future clients. Is that your kind of client profile?
Yes, definitely. So what we do with the banks is that we look at people that they can't reach, because we're still a little bit manual, because you still need to be on the ground to meet these ladies. And then usually what we do is we look for one person that we call the in Malay it's called Katlong Kawasan. It's like the mafia boss, kind of thing. But she's the lady who you go to if you have problems in your neighborhood. If you need help, you need something, she's the first person to know. So that's usually the first person we recruit in any area, and then she will help recommend people that she thinks need help or can do a good job. So that's how we do it, because we still need some kind of referral model.
Okay.
And then with that, we go to the banks, and then we tell the banks, okay, we have this group of people, would you like to support them? So if the banks are in that area, then it will be an ideal customer base. But we're not just looking at banks, we're also looking at corporate who work with women. Like if you're producing products that women buy or products that women use, then maybe that would be a good partner for us.
Right. Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to add that I haven't asked you?
No, I think it's pretty good. I think one of the things that we've been also planning to do this year would be, how do we really break the cycle of poverty?
Right.
Like when we reach the women, they are a certain age in their life and they've already lived this way for a while. So I think one of the things that we are looking at as well, if the mothers are going for the classes, can the kids go to a financial
literacy class or something? Right.
Because we have to break the cycle somewhere, right?
Yes.
So the younger you are, the easier it is to break it, I think.
Right. And what gives you the greatest satisfaction in what you do?
To see them succeed beyond what I've seen, because sometimes you think that your life is like a difficult life and all that, and then you look at the people that you work with, that I work with, and I see, they're doing amazing things, they're happy, you know,
Right.
they just go on and do it, things that I wouldn't be able to do, and yet they are doing it. So to me, I find that it's a wonderful thing to see how women are so agile and what they would do just to support their families. And I'm just so honored to be part of that journey.
Right.
You know, so I would love to meet more women who do amazing things.
Well, thank you, Nuraizah. And of course, thank you for sharing what you're doing as well. And I think you're doing great thing for women and their families, right? And of course, you've been watching The Shift Asia.